there everyone, my name is Reskull and welcome to my ISIS guide. I'm going to be taking you through how to play her in the mid lane, hopefully if we can call it. I'm just giving you a quick look at the stats page to show you since I've been using this build that I'm about to show you. I've had one loss, which was rather unfortunate, and overall it's just a very strong build if you can pull it off. I haven't used it competitively, so I can't guarantee that you'll do well if you enter into, say, a Code Green tournament. However, in casual conquest, you're going to find that if you can pull this off, it's going to be very, very tough, and you're just going to output so much damage so quickly. No one's going to know how to deal with you, and you're going to force the 10-minute surrenders wherever you go. First off, a little bit about Isis. She is, well, about Isis's moves and her passive. I'll just explain those here before we start the video. Her passive is called Funeral Rites. It grants allies and yourself HP 5 and MP 5. So when that's stacked out, anyone within, I think it's a 70-foot radius of you will be gaining up to 20 health every 5 seconds and 20 mana every 5 seconds, which isn't the greatest, especially because you're never really grouped up that much. However, it could be useful for sustain, especially early on, because of how I play Isis. You will get those kills early on, and you'll be able to stack it up. Second, first move is Wind Gust. And that throws out 4 balls which each do damage, and it speeds up your movement. And this is your main wave clear. You want to use this on every wave just to get them out of the way, and it really does a lot of damage. Late game it's very potent, and it's your main source of damage. Your second move is Spirit Ball. It sends out a long range missile, a ball which explodes when you hit 2 again, and that does a nice amount of damage and stuns for 1 second on level 1, and stays like that throughout the game. So you don't need to rank it up, but it does increase the damage every time you do. It also builds in power as it travels, so if you can hit those long range shots once you practice with Isis, you can really do a lot of damage with it. Here we go, just selecting it for you now. Yeah, so if you, as you see, it gains up to 1.5 at max range. So that's instead of doing 70, it will do 105 on the very start, plus your magic damage. Your third ability is called Dispel Magic. This slows 35% from the first level, steals magical protections, which scales up, and the duration that you steal the protections for scales up too, and it silences the enemy, which is incredibly useful, as you'll see in the coming moments. And it's got a rather long cooldown as opposed to Isis's other moves, but that's because it is very, very potent. It really can save your life, and not enough people know how to use it very well. And fourth, and also as you see, allies affected by Isis Funeral Rites, so anyone within there we go, 30 radius, so very close, will gain the magical protections, which is very useful too when you're up against another mage. And finally, the ultimate, called Circle of Protection, plants a very large circle around the target location, and this builds with power as more damage is done within it, and that will also heal you once you explode it. And that's another one like your Spirit Ball, which you can activate at any time after you've launched it. A lot of people use it immediately when you hit it down on the ground. That's very good if you want to finish off getting a kill. And yeah, so as we get into the game now, I've explained through the moves that you have. Itemization. I'm going to go for Vampiric Shroud and Tiny Trinket. These give you a good amount of sustain very early on, and Tiny Trinket will be going into Bancroft's Talon, which just outputs so much damage so quickly. It's really is an incredible item, especially for the early game. And with this added power, it allows you to just go and hit your opposing mid laner, because you'll clear the wave first. Their moves are not strong enough yet, and you can get the kill very early on. You see what I mean? Like, immediately you can just tell that you do so much damage so very quickly that they just don't really stand a chance against you if they want to stay outside of their tower range. If they want to stay inside of their tower range, it means that they cannot farm as effectively. Unfortunately, we ran out of mana just before we could get that kill with our Wind Gust. So yeah, the idea is that you can force your opposing mid laner back into their tower range to stop them from getting any farm, because their moves are just not as strong as yours are in the very early game. I'm just going to pop this down to help push him up. See, as you can see, my minions keep going, and their jungler has had to come back to help clear the wave. Our jungler is currently not around because we really need him to do mid camps, and mid camps are very vital. We're going to pop another potion here, mana potion. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get either of those camps. Ice is very good at stealing camps because that Spirit Ball does a lot of very quick damage. And yeah, their mid laner is now dead again. Because you could just throw out the damage, and I got quite lucky that Tia managed to get here in time for that. But you can just see the wave clear just going up and up and up. Unfortunately, they took the other mid camp. So we don't need to back yet. Or actually, we should. We're gonna back. We're gonna fill up Bancroft's Talon and buy the ward. We're gonna sell that, and we're gonna buy a mana potion. With Bancroft's Talon finished now, you don't need health pots because you have the magical lifesteal. A health pot is useful, especially because, you know, it's something like that looks like a fifth of my health, pretty much. It recovers. However, you don't need it per se, because you do start getting decent amounts of farm, well, of health back from farming. Especially against gods like Poseidon, which won't be able to hit you while they're dealing with the rest of your wave. And if he wants to have a one-on-one slapping competition, even with his buff, he's not going to be able to beat me at the moment, because I have the lifesteal, because I have the increased magical damage from my finished item. He will be able to kill me here though, unfortunately. Oh, thank goodness for that Tia. Absolutely saved me, like a boss. I'm gonna try and repay the favour. And some. Thank you, Tia. It's important to thank your junglers, because they are few and far between that will help you out in situations like that. It's probably quite lucky that he got there in time, but nonetheless, that was an awesome job that he did in saving me with that Fearless. We're going to go ahead and do these mid camps. You can usually wait for your mid laner, for your jungler, but we just want to get them cleared while there's no one here. That tier's gone to go get them, and he's going to see that they're gone, and that's why you got to do them now, because otherwise they will go. And that is why your silence is so incredibly good. These might look like lucky escapes, but really they are within my control, because it happens almost every match. You get ganked, especially if there's a tier. He loves doing that to you. He loves fearlessing you. But if you are able to get ahead like we are, we're level 9, the Chak's level 9, so he's decently leveling up, but if you can get ahead a certain amount, then it really stops them from being able to gank you, and also you have so many moves that will aid you. And just the damage that comes out so quickly is just incredible. Poseidon couldn't retreat quick enough because we silence him. He wants to try and clear the wave, but if he does, he's gone pretty much. And as you can see, like, if you see the gank coming, it's avoided because there's no way that he can get you once. Now we're gonna put him at a loss, because if you stun him before he finishes killing them, they're gonna hit him. He's the only one around. There's no minions there. I'm gonna go left and get this camp, and Poseidon's gonna try and shadow me. The tears coming in, as you can see. So he's really out of luck. And now we can get the mid camp. Easy, easy stuff. Okay, and their tier's just hanging out in mid lane. So as you can see, very simple kills, because the damage is just there naturally from the item, the way that you build your items. And that silence just allows you a second to run around tier, get out of his fearless, so he won't be able to get you back. It's the same with a lot of gods who have pulls like that. That's why I was saying your silence, your dispel magic, is so incredibly important for escapes and just in general play, because it really breaks up their ability to attack you. So we've now finished boots. We're going to go for penetration, because as you can see, we don't need to keep constantly hitting them. We don't need the cooldown, because you're going to get to a point where you do enough damage that they're ready to die, and they're just going to retreat, and then you're going to still have to wait for the cooldowns. But with the penetration, it just adds the ability to kill instantly. So I'm just going to go ward this up. If he follows me, he's going to die. Which he... There we go. They finally... they really wanted that kill, and I should have earlier really put on the Aegis for the Kraken. He hasn't used it on me thus far, but you know, once you get up to this, you've got your boots and your Bancross Talon, and you've got enough damage. And this is the first time that I've died in my last 4 matches, as you might have seen from the stats page before. But it took 3 of them to come and gank middle lane, walking all the way around so that they didn't see the Aegis. They were out of ward range, and it's just a very combined effort in order to get 1 kill, stop the farm. I don't have any stacked items. I am now a little farm behind Shack, unfortunately. There's not much more I could be doing to get the farm. I'm doing mid camps, and I suppose that I could be getting more last hits, but yeah, we're just gonna have to keep going as we're going. You're gonna see that with with Bancroft's talent and boots, you only need one wing gust to fully clear the mid camps. Poseidon's gonna have another death because, you know, one-on-one, once you're that powerful, there's not a lot that they can do to stop you killing them. They might try and go build a void stone. Even if they do, it's you take away their protections with your dispel magic, and you also have penetration boots. So overall, like, there's just not a huge amount that they're gonna do to challenge your abilities. I did silence him there, I'm almost certain. See, it's got where you gotta worry. I probably should have thrown down Circle of Protection, not gone into Wing Gust there, and then thrown down the Aegis. However, you know, sometimes you get unlucky, you don't play as well as you should. I'm not going to bother going for beads just yet because I'm still trying to just build up and build up the power. So sometimes I'd go into Polynomicon now. I'm going to go into Rod of Tahuti now because I have died a couple times. So I don't think that I'm going to be able to just, you know, take on whole teams with the lifesteal. I'm just going to try and attack them as much as possible from range, take the kill where I can. I'm going to go help out this Loki because Chak is powerful and Loki seems to be struggling with him, so I think that's what we need to do now. We just need to help Loki. Mid tower's almost down. We're going to try and get him his blue.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh, that was unlucky. And there goes a Chak. We're gonna just not fight here. There's no reason to fight here. There, he would beat us. And as you can see, like, you can take on any gods. Chak is has a good amount of defense to him. That was a very poor spirit ball. Could cost me in the long term. Oh, I'm gonna go straight out the other side here. Yep. He is very, very strong when he gets you, and that's why sometimes you just want beads. But we're still ahead. We managed to pull ahead of Golden's Chak, but he's gonna farm ahead of us now. He is slightly ahead, as you might have seen, because they have taken right tower. And as soon as we start getting towers, we'll get that gold back. You know, he's going to be ahead of me now because they've got another tower. And yeah, 6 and 3 isn't it. We have good farm, but you're obviously vulnerable. Where it is sometimes you can get vulnerable, especially if you get isolated. But really, it's only in very special occasions that there's going to be There, about 3 of them against you. I'm just going to push them out the tower, and then I'm going to go help left lane, because they do need help.
My arrow will find you. Your left tower. An enemy has been slain.
And then we're going to run back this way, so we're not...
Careful in the jungle.
Oof, they have a lot of damage very quickly there.
Unstoppable. My way.
I feel that was very unfortunate, especially that we didn't get the kill.
Okay.
So, by this point in the match, you might be trying to think of your itemization, and I am certainly going to get Breastplate of Valor. As you can see, they have four physical people, all of them damage dealers as well. Thor, it looks like, is supposed to be a support, but I don't quite understand that. And we're going to really need to go for beads now, as we're getting more into the team fighting stage, just to avoid those tier fearlesses and the Thors. You know, Thor has his ultimate. Overall, we're still not in too much danger, and we're going to take some farm from the jungle as the jungler becomes less of an actual role, and everyone starts team fighting. You can afford to start taking their jungle. But you can understand, as I was saying at the beginning of the game, why you have to create that level of dominance, really create a situation where there's no way that they can fight you, otherwise they'll just die. And we've done that to the mid laner pretty successfully. Poseidon doesn't want to fight me, however the other positions are still fairly strong, it looks like. Okay, we're going to go and just return to farming now. Like, that's what you have to do. You have to keep farming constantly. As you can see, we've now passed the 10k mark. Going to try and push up this middle tower now, and that's going to be very important. The towers are important because they get the whole team farm, and if your whole team's not getting farm, then it doesn't help you to just be that one guy who's carrying. Because as nice as carrying is, it's not the best way to do it. Unfortunately, he's not going to get out, and I'm not going to be able to help him. They're probably going to be coming for me right now. I'm going to have to do quite a lot to stay away from these guys. Yeah, I should have stayed where I was and actually tried to back. That probably would have gotten me out of danger there. But, you know, the team really has to work together as a whole. I was with Tyr. It was obvious he was going to die. There wasn't a huge amount I could do to help him. So really, just trying to run away, survive yourself. It's a good strategy, you know, just to preserve yourself when there's nothing that you can do, because you don't want everyone going down, especially when your team's most farm player. As you can see, their jungle Tyr is done very successfully, as has their solo lane Shaq, which means that you're at a disadvantage because you're trying to carry versus 2 players, which is why we need to start getting these towers. It doesn't look like Geb has a particularly strong build at the moment because he's still not very far past his opening items. And Chak is probably strong enough to dive in on that if he wants to. If he has an ultimate up, it means that he can just dive in and then be immune to damage you a ton, and then get out. So you got to find other ways to. Other ways to farm up, and we're going to help out right lane. It looks like the other guys have disappeared from mid lane. Yep. So we're gonna push up this wave, and then we're gonna go help left lane because that looks like where everyone's going. Our tier is just not having a very good game. He's still only level 13, as opposed to their tier who's level 19. So you really gotta worry about what's happening there. I popped beads a little late there. Really, it didn't have much of an effect on the outcome of that fight. Thor's stun had pretty much worn off. I still have the Aegis for the Kraken, which is now being completed. We're gonna have loads of damage for Thor. There was no way he was gonna live there. Poseidon's still hanging around somewhere. I'm gonna let them push up the tower. I'm gonna go back to mid lane. I'm gonna take the mid camps. I'm gonna keep farming. You don't need everyone on an objective. You need everyone to be going for all-round objectives. That's why you split push and stuff. We might have to go help out Loki because there's a Chak there who's probably going to kill him. Loki doesn't look like he's got a great chance. By himself at least. So we're going to come around a long way. And absolutely demolish Chak. Thankfully. Taking their jungle buffs is an incredibly useful thing because the jungle buffs, especially the speed buff, is very very annoying to come up against. So if you can take it yourself, then it means that they can't use it. You have it. There's just no reason if you're clear to do it to leave it. So right now we've got one tower, and mid lane really should have gone down by now. Got to help out Loki over there. Loki, I wanted to let him get the kill, but okay, so as you can see what I did there, I tried to silence Chak as he was coming in on the teleport, but he used his ultimate just beforehand. Almost saved the tower, didn't manage to. And then you just got to keep a clear head because you know his moves. Once you know his moves, you know he's going to throw his axe at you. He's going to try and do a buttload of damage, and he's going to teleport in on you. So you move it out of the way. I was ready with the Spirit Ball. I didn't launch it off, but ready to launch it off. He's not going to get away very far because T is going to be there. unfortunately, there was not enough that we could do there. We're going to build a Polynomicon now that we have the Rod of Tahuti. It's given us so much magical power. As you can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got 588 magical power. Then we're going to immediately build that Breastplate of Valor, as I was saying. That's not the Breastplate of Valor at all. We're going to sell that. We're going to go here. And we're going to list out the 1200. If we sell that, we will get enough. And now you can see the build is almost finished. We've got one item left, but now you've got your physical protection against the 4 physical damage dealers. You have a huge amount of magical power with the Polynomicon. You have a cooldown of 25 due to the Breastplate of Valor. You've got your speed from the boots. Overall, just your damage is incredibly high. It looks like a very standard build for a mage. It's just the order that you've built it in means that you've been absolutely dominant throughout the match. As you can see, 14 and 6. We've now got by far the highest amount of farm because as people have been taking objectives, we've been doing our own. We know what people are capable of. We've assessed the team. We've seen that we can allow Apollo to push the tower, and he'll be successful at it. Apollo is doing decently. Loki has needed help, so we've gone to help him when we can. You see the damage coming up from the Polynomicon there. We didn't really need to use the Wind Gust, but why not use it when you have it? Tyr, he's useful in his attacks. You know, Tyr is always useful for those pulls. However, his damage is not very high because he is underfarmed, under-leveled. He's had not a good share of the game. We really need to keep Chak down, so as much as we can do to kill him, we're going to do that as much as I'm initiating a gank right lane. So you know, when you take down their best players, it really helps the rest of your team, because if they're isolated, you take them down, they're not around for a team fight. It means that the rest of your team, even if they haven't done very well, will be able to beat their less than good players, and it just creates a good atmosphere. Going for a successful gank increases the morale. So at the moment it's become less of an ISIS teaching session and more of just a general one. However, it's still incredibly useful to know about what to do at the moment. We're not going to be able to find that Ulur, unfortunately, because you know he'll have backed. I'm going to let Tyr push that wave because he needs the farm. I'm going to push up more advanced because we're down to the Phoenix there. We need to keep the lane pushed up. As you can tell, I'm not too worried about being seen on the map, giving away my position, because I'm so well fed that I can just get out of any situation. I've got the cooldowns now, and as long as I've got this, my Dispel Magic, I'm going to be safe. I believe I've forgotten to mention about the oh, a little bit of lag there. That's Fraps coming into play, and as you can see there, I've really backed off very quickly because you see a lot of their players. You don't want to get right in the middle of them, like Tyr has here. Tyr's going to get out, which is nice. With some good play by him actually to escape. But yeah, if you can just keep yourself alive as well, it's a very important part of the game, because when it gets to this late game, the timers for deaths get high. You don't want to be dying all the time. We allowed a few early deaths. Just because you know, you will get more farm from taking down 1 versus 2 than 2 people taking you down is going to get. So there are a couple times I could have backed off, when I went in for a fight in mid lane, for example, and there was a couple of times that the jungle was coming, and I really could have done a bit more to keep myself alive. However, if you want to get really efficient farm, you have to be willing to let yourself go down occasionally. And at the end of that team fight, there was a result 3-for-1. Could have got more. I could have helped out more. I wanted to survive myself. If I'd been caught between Jack and Tyr, probably would have gone down. I have that breastplate of valor, but it's not going to keep me alive forever. Hopefully the Apollo moves into the circle. He doesn't. Otherwise he would be absolutely fine, as he was. He would have healed for everything. And that is an example of how to really use the circle of protection in objectives. I think it's the best ultimate for getting objectives, because if anyone comes to try and steal it, you can silence them, stop them from using their hog, or you can stun them with your spirit ball, and then they'll be caught. And down he goes. That was very nice body blocking from Geb there. Now I'm going to go finish my build. You have a choice of what you want to put it into. I'm just going to check all of their magic defenses. None of them have got anything particularly strong, so there's no reason to go for the obsidian shard. You see how much damage we're still putting out. You can go for the slow. I don't think it's actually needed here. I might go for another physical protection item, simply because physical protection, maybe. There's not really the choice that I would like. So Pythagorean's piece is one that you could get. However, there's no other melee damage, magical damage dealers, so you don't want to get that. I think I will go for the Gem of Isolation now, and now we've really finished our build. We've got 18,000 gold. We're 3,000 gold ahead of any of them, and we're really pushing the limits of how much damage they can take, and we're playing more cautiously than we have been throughout the game at this stage. And you play more and more cautiously as it gets to the end game, because if you give away those kills, your team could go down incredibly fast without your damage dealers. Like, it's very well having a tank, it's very well having your ADC still up, but if your main damage dealer goes down, then you might find yourself with a bigger problem than you've noticed beforehand. Tyr is going to just use his big amounts of sustain, take down this Phoenix, and we're really just rounding out the game, which has been an overall success for us. We've never really looked in much danger of losing. They were, they took a lot of our towers very quickly. However, we now have 3 Phoenixes, so I don't think they'd be able to defend, at least against our minions. And I think if I was to say what the turning point of the match was, it was when we started isolating out Jack, really going for him, as opposed to Loki is going. Okay, they're going to surrender. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'm just gonna keep going into the stats just to break it down. But you've now seen how to play it out into the late game too. I recorded maybe 4 videos previously where it lasted 10 minutes and they surrendered because we were beating their mid laner 4-0, 5-0 and 7-0. And we'll get a God Mastery. But you can just see the insane amount of damage that we put out compared to everyone else. 38,000 damage is just really very good when you compare it to Poseidon, who is your opposite mid laner, who got less than half. Their jungle tier was very strong, 13 and 4. He still got 10,000 damage less. Your creep damage, my creep damage was around the same as Loki's, so you can see that we stopped doing so much damage to creeps late game as Apollo, who was split pushing, and towers we actually did. You're going to do a reasonable amount to towers, but nothing compared to your ADC. That's what he's there for, really. Damage mitigated. That breastplate of valor coming out ended with more than Loki, even though he had more damage taken. So you can see it does help. It keeps you alive at the end. And Poseidon's complimenting me, which is nice. So thank you. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, just leave it in the comments, and I'll answer those, or in Reddit. And yeah, this has actually been my first video that I'm going to be posting up, so thank you very much for watching, and good night, happy launch.